I'm going to talk to you about some frequently asked questions regarding the graph option. Okay, so if you come over to the tab labeled View/Print One Student, this is the tab that will calculate into the graph. So if you select graph, you will notice that it is going to be empty until you select a student's name. So if you come over here to your View/Print One Student tab, this is where you'll enter a student name. And all of the data pulled on this sheet will come from the first tab called Documentation. So this is where all of your student data is. And let's say you want to view or print just one student. You'll come up here to the top where it says student name with the arrows. And right here is where you will type the student's name. And if you notice, you have to type the student's name exactly the way it appears on the first sheet, or it will not work correctly. So this student's name is MHH, and all three letters are capitalized. So as you can see, I typed MH, and it did not populate the student's data. So if I come over here and retype it, and I click Enter, the student's data will then populate. And it has to be typed exactly the way it is on the first tab labeled Documentation, including capitalization, or it will not work. So, after you type the student's name, you can come on over to the tab named Graph, and you will notice that it will automatically graph the progress the student has made toward all objectives. So as you can see at the bottom, the date is monthly. So October 1st, November 1st, December 1st, and it goes like so. But this is going to be the progress for all objectives. And if you notice, the title of the chart here says Progress Toward Goal or Goal. So if you click here, you are able to edit the title of this chart. And you may want to title it Progress Towards All Goals. And that would be a chart that would represent your progress toward all goals. Now, if you'd like to save this chart, you can click the Save Image button over here. As you notice, the file will download at the bottom of your screen. And if you right-click on that, you can select Show in Folder. And this will be where you change the name of the image. As of right now, it's titled Image in parentheses 1. And we want that to reflect the student's name so we know whose progress it is. So if you click Show in Folder, the file will be highlighted here in blue. And if you right-click, you'll be able to rename the image. And I will name it the student's name, MHH. And you can type whatever you like for the title. I'm going to write Progress Towards All Objectives. So that reflects according. And if you notice right now, it is stored in what's called default C drive. So you're going to want to take that, and you're probably going to want to drag and drop it into either your documents or your desktop. I'll put it in my documents for the time being. Okay, and then you can exit out of this folder and it will take you back to your graph. Now, if you would like to make a chart for the progress toward each individual objective, we'll have to edit the way this chart formats. So if you come back over to View/Print One Student, come to this tab, and now we are going to turn the filter on by selecting this row, and right here where it says Turn Filter Off, we're going to turn it off, and then we're going to turn it back on, and we're going to make sure that all of these little squares appear. And you'll see that the cells are blue. It means they've been selected for the filter to turn on. Now, if you click the drop-down arrow under Goal, you can temporarily clear and select whatever objective that you would like to chart its progress. So if you select 1, you'll be able to view just Goal 1 for this student. If you select Goal 2, you'll be able to see the progress towards this objective for this student. And then as soon as you come over to the graph, you will notice that it then recharts the progress the student has made toward that objective. So whatever objective you select on this page here, will be the information used on the chart listed on the Graph tab. Okay, so as you can see, I selected Goal 3. So if I come over to the graph, I'm probably going to want to change the title of the graph. So I'm going to type in Progress Towards Goal number 3. So it reflects appropriately. And then you'll come up here to Save Image. You will notice it comes to the bottom again under the downloads. And the most recent one will always be off to the left. You right click, Show in Folder. There it is on the top. You right click to rename that file, and we're going to name it the student's name and Progress Towards Goal 3. And then you can take that, like I said before, and drag it into a folder such as My Documents. And as you can see, those two images will appear in this folder, and from there you are able to email them or do whatever you like with them to be able to show the progress the students have made toward these goals. Okay, so that's how you view the graph and edit the graph according to the information that you want included, whether you want all objectives, selecting all, or if you just want to turn the filter on and select just one goal to be included in your graph. Now note, in order for this to work correctly, you can only have one goal per row. If you notice, I have one goal noted in each of these rows. They do not say goal 3 and 4. Even if you target 2 goals in one session, you still must enter it in its own row. Okay? So each one should only include one of the goals, okay? So when you come over to your documentation page, let's say that you are targeting 2 goals in one session, okay? You would right-click on the cell and do an Insert Row Below. And to make this easy on myself, I usually just copy the row and then I paste it below. It is important, if you want your attendance to work out correctly, that you delete the second entry right here for month. You do not want 2 of them to populate, otherwise it will count as two times on the attendance page. But it's okay if the date is twice. All the information is the same. If you want to change the notes for the second entry, that is fine, because you'll be targeting, obviously, a different objective. So let's say we targeted objective 3 with a 70% accuracy. You'll notice now there are 2 rows for the same date here, 9/24, 9/24, but only one of them has a number filled in for the month column for the direct service, because this is the attendance column and we do not want to put 2 entries here, otherwise it will say that we saw the student 2 times on the 24th. But we did not. What we did was we targeted 2 different objectives, and that's why we put them in 2 separate rows. Also, the information on this first tab right here, Documentation, is transferred over to the View/Print One Student tab immediately. So as soon as you add something to the first tab, it will immediately sync to your View/Print One Student tab. Note that you are not able to edit information on this sheet. If there is something that is wrong or incorrect, you'll need to edit on this Documentation tab. A quick way to find the information that you need is to turn the filter on by making sure the little white boxes are there and selecting the student that you would like to see, MHH, and clicking OK. So you'll only be viewing data for that student. You can tell the filter's on by the green box here. And once that information is on this page, you can edit accordingly. Make sure that this column with the percentage of accuracy has a percentage sign after the number. If the percentage sign is not after the number, it will not calculate into the graph or the attendance page correctly. So if you come over to your View/Print student and you notice that one of your numbers does not have a percentage sign, You cannot add it on this page. You have to add it on the first page. This is the page that you can edit if there are any errors that you find. Also, to condense my note, since I am documenting 2 different notes on the same day for the student, sometimes I'll come over here and I will actually delete the goals for the second entry because they're not needed. Really, all we need to comment on is the provider notes. That way it makes your documentation page a little bit smaller. Obviously, your goals are already noted here on the first entry from the 24th. So I just delete those so it makes it a little bit smaller, but I still have the provider notes for how they performed based on that second goal for the day.